Sirius possesses unwavering moral principles. Yet the women he pursues experience inner turmoil. A disquietude resides within their hearts. A battle rages, soldiers dash about amidst the chaos. A formidable demon stands at the heart of the conflict. Humans exclaim the monster's configuration is impenetrable. Victory seems impossible. The hulking demon unleashed a harsh rebuke. Greetings, companions. You appear apprehensive. What troubles you? These mortals lack my king's refined sensibilities. Behold, demon queen Princess Yug. A fair-haired comrade addresses Sarah from the earth. Escape is imperative. These creatures possess immense power. Disregard my safety. You are but an insignificant F-rank weakling. Pathetic and inept. Revolting and futile. Your efforts will prove fruitless. However, our protagonist embodies a Sigma mindset. He declares his intent to safeguard the city's inhabitants. He will not falter in this critical juncture. Relax, I understand how to manage her. Gosh, why must she be so conceited? Am not criticizing the lad is similar to us present. He's stating that he won't retreat from the conflict. He must deliver fairness to the planet. Combating each being, yet his nostrils are hemorrhaging. His companion advises him cease behaving foolishly. My physique cannot withstand her might. How do you intend to oppose her? The monstrous being states to the female monarch. There exist two living entities, they're the royal lady. Immediately commands to eliminate them. Yet our hero remains impassive. Positioned there resembling a stone. Then she declares shall transform Sirius's cranium into a wine vessel. However, that's when the mechanism activates. One must intensify the situation further. The sovereign is enveloped in a violet ambience. She's positioned before him, and goodness, she's incredibly massive. It would require much labor too. Even Elon Musk would admire my work ethic. Her hand encompasses his entire cranium. She advances with wide jaws to deliver him. A fatal strike, but unexpectedly, the display indicates. Smooch achieved. Saris clarifies the situation. His abilities can perpetually amplify his strength. If he can trigger turmoil in feminine monster cores. The fair-haired companion is present. Saris, what is your purpose here? The monarch collapsed to the floor on her knees. The diminutive creatures are inquiring of the princess. What activity are you engaged in, Saris? Simply offers that sideways glance. Slice the blade glides effortlessly as through butter. The sovereign regains her senses and retreats. She is perplexed. What has befallen me? I became somewhat unhinged, overwrought. My saliva was flowing inexplicably. My intention was to eliminate him. Why did I choose to embrace that repulsive tiny human oral cavity? This fool possesses some uncanny ability, some inexplicable power. This confrontation will be more intricate than initially predicted. Siri loudly proclaims concern for the citizens' safety within the metropolis. Regardless of circumstances, surrender is not an option. Maximum effort will be exerted until the conflict's conclusion. My principles, beliefs, and physical form will be risked for universal salvation. The grotesque creatures engage in hushed discourse amongst themselves. Astonishingly, that individual embraced the princess. Remarkable, I yearn to emulate that particular human. Abruptly, another grotesque creature loudly interjects. You exhibit foolishness, questioning her affections for the monarch. That person employed a mystical technique, a supernatural force. Undoubtedly, the queen experiences trepidation, fear. I cannot permit the king to discover my embrace with the human. However, an anomaly presents itself, a peculiarity. Her heart pulsates with excessive rapidity and accelerated rhythm. Cirrus minor apparatus indicates heightened emotional state 15%. She commands the grotesque creatures to resume their assault. Yet he remains impassive, unfazed as customary. The quivering grotesque creature hovers above, positioned overhead, approaching to deliver an axe strike. Our protagonist readies and expertly evades the swing. However, post-defense his blade was damaged. He gazes forward. Another approaches with a timed hammer strike from the right. He ducks instantly. His protection remains constant, yet his offense has amplified. He wounds the goblin, yet it also dodged, although his armament was severed. But another lurks behind him. Seriously, what is this situation? The information stated goblins should be less aggressive initially in the saga. Yet these are frantic to eliminate the individual. He sidesteps and unleashes an empowered aura slash. The fair-haired companion is astonished. How is he enduring this? This exceeds F-class capabilities. Observe his self-assurance, however, friend. These particular goblins are not easily defeated. His strike merely grazed the torso. He perceives an auditory response. Is the matriarch descending from the heavens, prepared to attack with her powerful limbs? Remarkable exhibition of strength and agility. He will be pulverized. He braces for impact, and a detonation occurs. The fair-haired companion shut her eyes. Airborne fragments scattered widely. The diminutive creatures inquire about the event. They did not anticipate this outcome. Sirius is prone, and someone is utilizing him for amusement. The small beings rush to her aid. The appendage is approaching, but not the desired posterior. Yet it is the instrument of the creature's demise. She is colossal in stature. Positioned atop our diminutive companion, who is vulnerable against such a behemoth. The unfortunate creature was propelled afar. The sovereign commands inaction. Defiance will result in repercussions. Judging by her countenance, I believe she desires to gamble with our companion. The analysis indicates her unrest is at 91%. She repeatedly inquires about the current situation. The creatures are certain the monarch will slay him. She parts her lips, I shall bite you fatally. She seizes his cranium, stating he appears minuscule. My former partner uttered similar words once. She will terminate him by inflicting auditory agony. They are reddening slightly, saliva emerges. Plus 50 defense points truly present. What action can I take? This is my power's cost. Despite opposing my principles, I must persevere for the citizens' protection. It's challenging. It's yielding, it's tepid. Yet for the realm I shall remain, until I possess sufficient strength to conquer, regardless of any personal indignity. However, the sovereign was perplexed. What is my current action? Why this urge with this mortal? The protagonist attempts to withstand the barrage of attacks. She strikes him while expressing her hatred. She is perplexed by her body's defiance. She possesses immense power. The hero gains a significant agility boost. The goblin horde erupts in celebration. The monarch intends to execute him. It appears so. Another observes. Cease your foolish utterances, her eyes indicate. Flushed and breathless, she clearly isn't aiming to kill. The small protagonist lies beneath, acquiring substantial defense and attack enhancements. He revels in the experience. Growing stronger, he contemplates sufficient strength to confront these adversaries. He initiates a sneak attack upon her back. A rear assault was not her intention. She denounces him as treacherous and wicked. Her tail halts his advance. She seizes him by the throat. He observes his power is insufficient. The goblin horde erupts and cheers once more. I predicted her murderous intent towards him. Her cruelty is evident. She toyed with the man's mind. Our hero realizes his lack of protection. Yet he displays no fear, a stoic expression. The fiend extends her appendages, preparing a fatal strike. She contemplates the necessity of endurance. She must fight this compelling desire. Something intensifies within her being. The system indicates agitation level at maximum. Our champion is overwhelmed beneath the joyous peaks. She descends. It's time for delectable retribution. He states his present capabilities are inadequate. He cannot vanquish this behemoth. His companion questions the situation. This is a battle. Our hero accepts defeat, mentally reiterating a phrase. For the metropolis's well-being. A minor forfeit for the greater benefit I shall be. Even if she utilizes her full mass to crush me, I am unwavering. I shall remain at this location. I shall battle until the very conclusion. The time has arrived to demonstrate the outcome of my earnestness. He positions his appendage at the rear of her cranium. I shall reveal my might. He draws her nearer. Acquires enhanced defense, augmented power. Heightened focus, amplified everything. Currently the goblins are collectively bewildered. A male from afar observed the entirety. He utters, my dearest. What is your action, darling? He is the monarch and her spouse. However, observe her countenance, while our companions are beaming. She directs her gaze sideways. Oh, it is the sovereign solemn. Believes he will not respond favorably. The system alerts detection of a critical blow to the devil ruler. Your entire bonuses are multiplied by 2, but presently the pair are becoming frantic. Meanwhile, she remains attached to our companion, saying, let me clarify, this is a misunderstanding. Sirius contemplates if his present power is sufficient, but then she delivers another powerful blow. The Minotaur bellowed, charging towards them, warning the monarch to move aside, attacking with a parried blade strike. But Sirius was propelled onto the earth beside the fair maiden. She inquires of Sirius, Are you all right? He rises, declaring he can endure further. Observing the fractured connection, he ponders the sovereign's disappearance, and suddenly materialized before him. Furthermore, the assault's force exceeded his expectations. The evil overlord addresses the empress. Did you not guarantee this would not reoccur? Pitiful ruler, it's not even a first occurrence. Behold the dark sovereign Barrett. Tier 1. He informs the royal lady he has pardoned her minor errors. Why does she persist in this behavior? She loudly proclaims the blame rests solely on him. Why the tardiness? Why such a protracted delay? The transgression lies in his untimely arrival home. The monarch is astonished. What is the meaning of this? Even the grotesque creatures are perplexed. She berates him, attributing all culpability to him. His lateness yet again precipitated these events. This explains her actions or conduct. He dares challenge and menace her with questions. The sovereign stands there rendered silent, inarticulate, incapable of utterance. Her reprimand continues unabated. Justify your tardiness, explain your delayed arrival. She angrily averts her gaze. The king attempts to pacify her. My beloved, my dearest, contain your ire. I admit my wrongdoing. I was engaged with other members of mankind. Even the monstrous beings marvel at the king's humility, enduring such indignity before the queen, as Cyrus and his companion aim to discreetly depart, while unnoticed by onlookers. The power differential between the boy and the monarch is vast. Thus Cyrus aids his injured friend in escaping. Returning to the deceived queen, she proclaims, the issue stems from the king's perpetual tardiness. Mortals tempted her due to his absence. The enraged bull concedes, indeed, my beloved, it is truth. Cease your tears, the fault lies with me. Fear not, for I shall now end his life. Do not despair, she clasps his limbs, stating, naturally she will experience no sorrow. He is her soulmate, her true love. How could she adore such a man? Succumbing to passion does not equate to affection. Indulging in intimacy implies no fondness. The king observes Cyrus's escape. He inquires of the goblins, why do you remain idle? The goblins reply, the queen forbade, interrupting her amusement, because she desired to relish all she was capable of. The monarch exclaims, you fools, you imbeciles, soaring towards Cyrus, who unfortunately is preoccupied. His back is turned, he perceives at the final moment. A detonation occurs, and Cyrus H. was propelled. This instant he is in agony, and the sovereign is merely observing, and she witnessed him plummeting beside her. Cyrus even fractured some ribs, and comprehends he has no method to protect himself against that individual. Furthermore, he is too swift for him to respond presently. He is outmatched, and he is approaching once more. The king arrives. Enraged Cyrus is on the verge of being bisected. Barrett hollers, I am going to sever you for enticing my chaste cherished spouse. Cyrus believes there is no escape now. The blow was imminent when the queen struck the king. The monarch was bewildered. Why, how? Meanwhile, Cyrus has already risen and is fleeing. The monarch is lamenting why my beloved is doing this. She simply expresses remorse, stating that she feels terrible, but she cannot witness that man perish. Those utterances delivered another devastating blow to the monarch. This treachery was excessive to endure. All Cyrus desires is to escape this location immediately. The queen gazes at the king, requesting the humans remains because she wishes to inflict her brutal assaults upon him as before. Until he loses consciousness, it was overwhelming for the king. He could no longer withstand it. He felt losing a conflict would be infinitely preferable. Then he utters, my beloved. What are you implying? Is that truly your desire? But she is losing her sanity. She requires immediate assistance. The king even had to restrain her while weeping. He states, you claimed I was your eternal love. Do not approach him. I am the sovereign. He is merely a minuscule human, but she tore her hand from him, unleashed her abilities, and pounced upon him, declaring she can no longer tolerate it. She must release all her pent-up emotions. The nature of it I am unaware of. Enlighten me, sibling of mine. She bestows upon him a warm embrace, and the monarch observes from a distance. Meanwhile, our protagonist is accumulating more strength. 140 more focus, increased offense. Greater velocity, observe his countenance in anguish and torment. Believing his sole recourse is survival, is it not? The sovereign inquires of my beloved. Is it due to my inadequacy? Or is it the human's transgression? What attributes does he possess that I lack? On your behalf, I shall eliminate him presently. However, she fixes him with a particular gaze. Refrain from disturbing us. We are presently engaged. He descended to his very knees. The notification indicates the demonic overlord Barrett has succumbed, and Sirius ascends 5 further ranks. The fair-haired companion suggests it is time to retreat. She approaches to present him with a blade, but he advises her against such action. It presents a perilous situation. She is struck by a tail strike and propelled into the barrier. The monarch continues to inflict harm upon Sirius, expressing a sentiment of feeling unlike her former self. Yet oddly within her core, she experiences much delight. Amidst all that elation, the sovereign rises, declaring weariness. It is all deception. He advances to strike her once more. However, upon seeing her charming countenance, he halted despite Cyrus being directly beneath her. The ruler lacked the valor to harm the exquisite being. That the monarch, was he commences weeping, transitions to grayscale as though his spirit shattered, releases the blade. He can endure it no longer. His essence is already departing the physical form. The system announces demon Lord Barrett has entered utter ruin and is on the verge of self-annihilation. 3 additional tears for Cyrus Queen, and she inquires, "What is your action, Barrett?" The lesser creatures desire escape. "Let us depart this place, Queen." But she is restrained by the sovereign, who desires to journey to the hereafter alongside her. The monarch's demise has propelled Cyrus to attain level 10, and consequently, he acquires a novel capability, the pleasure/witnessing such a formidable queen perish. Our protagonist unhesitatingly employed his fresh skill to eliminate the king, cleaving directly through him. Pleasure/transforms the body into an ethereal shape, allowing teleportation through foes within 5 meters, striking directly at the intended mark. The queen exhibits fear as the king collapses, but with this his self-annihilation has subsided. Our hero realizes leveling up grants further enhancements, more aptitudes as the queen displays her ruthlessness. Observing the fallen king, she contemplates his weakness, deeming him unworthy of her presence due to his feeble mind and physique. Headless, the king lunges, embracing her waist, fulfilling his pledge through shared demise. She expresses her unwillingness to die, but he has already initiated self-destruction once more. Our protagonist was fleeing as the queen wept in despair. "Somebody rescue me, I beg you." Our hero seized her appendage, must save the Prime One. Everything detonates, explodes, but our protagonist will flee with the villains correct. Everyone tumbled to the earth. There's an individual over him, a reptile on his torso. It's the corpse of the evil monarch Yuck, but possessing a life force of 9. She dashed by his form and pilfered his pouch. His companion is assisting us greatly, but Sirius merely desires to observe the notification declared. Infernal Overlord Barrett vanquished triumphantly. Compensation for extermination, labyrinth, chart, incredible. My prize is a cartography. Should I select this chart, I must contemplate meticulously. Our lad is deliberating extensively indeed, as if he genuinely needs to ponder deeply. "Oh, greetings. Salutations, could you descend, please?" She eventually dismounted. He activates the device and accesses the area's chart. The diagram displays all impasses and routes, obstacles, potential gains, and the leader's chamber location. Mark exhibits enthusiasm. This allows direct access to the boss's location, eliminating concerns about misdirection. The fair-haired woman inquires about his observations. He states there's nothing noteworthy. The interface is solely visible to him. He rises and provides assistance to her. A cardiac sensation arises within him. He collapses, expelling stomach contents. "Strange occurrences," the blonde remarks. Inquiry about the situation. His hand is becoming violent. The smallest digit is radiant. "Damaged pinky finger!" exclamation. "What's transpiring?" He writhes in pain supine on the earth. Something is emerging. She questions the events unfolding. Embracing him, she senses his form is burning. As if ignited, his pinky appears to have vanished. Our protagonist will faint within the beloved's embrace. After a period, he eventually awakens. She inquires about Sirius' physical condition. Why is he dissolving? He reveals he was contaminated. The metropolis of Warcraft was assaulted half a year prior. He witnessed numerous creatures battling the guild members, and a guild associate was transporting a container. The leader attacked, striking the container directly, which was shattered by the beast. Upon opening, Sirius was propelled afar. Entombed in stones, the container was leaking the same substance. He regurgitated. The demon confronted that individual, and above, crimson precipitation descended. The aroma was truly horrific. He commenced regurgitating. All tissue disintegrated upon contact with the precipitation. Even the creatures were liquefied. But he remained interred within the stones. Remained shielded from precipitation, yet without physical contact. Mere olfactory perception induced toxicity. Upon regaining consciousness in the medical facility, the physician delivered a grim prognosis of a year. But the infernal deity's lifeblood could offer salvation. Then the framework materialized, displaying a notification. Should you embrace the system's aid, an opportunity to acquire the Demon King's blood will arise. He readily consented without hesitation. The alternative was demise, and his companion informed him that the Demon King's blood resided in the adjacent labyrinth. Within the dungeon's confines, he recounts, discovering a method for partial recuperation from the venom's effects after some duration, yet now requires the Demon King's blood. Due to the dwindling time remaining, he must venture forth and conquer this realm to secure the blood. However, initially, they necessitate additional protective gear. Correct. They must traverse a neighboring chamber to seek new provisions. The perspective shifts to a contingent of explorers, traversing the subterranean depths. The man stood, their shield raised in front, fully assured yet eyes shut tight. Instantly, a beam pierced his face center. The fair-haired man urged calm amongst them. A false step taken could spell doom. Activate a trap, another life consumed. Even the strongest, the tank, perished instantly. A path must be forged, however. So who volunteers or who's forced forward? The fringe-haired man stepped forth, declaring, lowest level goes initially. Those are the established guidelines, the feeble man stated. This is madness. I refuse to participate. But Fringe-hair clarified the inevitable outcome. Perish there or meet your end here. Brandishing the blade menacingly. Defiance carries repercussions, understand. Don't you, the golden-haired man urged patience. He devised a reflecting contraption. Equip him with it, enhance his survival prospects. The deranged individual abruptly terminated it, uttering that is superfluous. His companion inquires, man, what was that possessed the potential to aid everyone? The man with bangs states, if you present me with more refuse like this, I will eliminate you. Now arise. The man is trembling, contemplating the possibility of imminent demise. While seeking out hazards, he endeavors to exercise utmost caution. Gradually, it becomes a blend of solace and despair. He merely gazes at the earth. The unhinged individual commands proceed. We lack the entire day. He desires to elevate his leg, but he is perspiring. His feeble arms are weighty. There is emesis on his garment. Maternal spaghetti, one further stride ahead. Nothing transpired now. Continue onward. The man is on the verge of lunacy. He is unable to ambulate further. There is no remaining valor within him. Vocally protesting his impending demise, he charges toward them, yet he missteps directly. At this juncture, everyone is astonished and perplexed. This instance, the fatal strike originated overhead. Thus, the apparatus alters even the assault trajectory, and its origin is utterly unpredictable. The man's remains collapse inanimate onto the floor, signifying the peril of advancing even a single pace. The individual with the fringe remarks impassively, now who occupies the lowest echelon. However, presently an entrance along the passageway swings open. The man pivots to ascertain its nature. Behold, it is our Sirius. Seemingly they are acquainted, for the fair-haired man states. Sirius belongs to the diversion squad and should be deceased currently. Deranged individual disliked witnessing Sirius living and exclaims, "You imbecile, how do you persist in living?" Sirius is bewildered by the inquiry and inquires, "What do you imply? We sometime prior to the dungeon descent. How do you know my spouse's underwear shade? Explain your precise knowledge of her physique." Saitama claims he is honing his instincts for an upcoming fight. Thus he can discern the hue of surrounding objects. The cuckold this instance was displeased. He attempts to slice Saitama's throat and inquires again. "Clarify the source of your knowledge. What connection do you have with her?" The cuckold's companions restrain him. "Compose yourself, leader. Murder within the city results in apprehension." Then strikes his torso, exclaiming, "I forbid you from besmirching my honor thusly. I will demonstrate the outcome of my preparation. My insight assists me with any individual. Therefore I know this regarding you all. The rightmost individual is unclothed. Udon Rose, the leftmost two, are a pair." A cuckold companion observes the leader and states, "Leader, In my opinion, we ought to eliminate this individual regardless. That's the most sensible and judicious choice available. However, from the opposing perspective, the individual states, Commander, you are not permitted to eliminate him. Should they discover your involvement, you will face severe consequences. Subsequently, they devise a plan. Let's assign him to the vanguard unit leading the charge. His demise is inevitable regardless, returning to the confinement area. Deeply contemplating, why did I re-encounter the subjugation squad? Cock 2.0 Utter Siri. Present yourself immediately in your capacity as expedition leader. I command your presence. Sirius comprehends the individual's objective. He aims to observe Sirius' demise to ascertain the snare location. However, the fair-haired man advises Sirius to remain stationary, stating, Command, we can simply retrace our steps along his arrival path. It presents a simpler solution for all, minimizing life and danger. However, do you anticipate intelligent actions from the antagonist? He responds negatively. They have already incurred substantial losses reaching this point. Their progression will continue. The rationale is absent. And that was the fair-haired man's deduction. The commander assures them there is no need for concern. His instincts are so keen death is improbable, provided he adheres to the given directives. The program indicates the secure path to Cyrus, and to defy the leader deliberately. Our protagonist grimaces, then proceeds towards them. The fair-haired woman grasps his arm, advising against. She senses danger along this particular route. Seeking an alternate way is preferable to certain demise. Pointless, yet Cyrus states it is the commander's command. Therefore, he must proceed. He initiates movement. His actual approach astonishes everyone present. The source of his bravery remains a mystery. This low-ranking individual demonstrates irrationality, but the program reveals all secure locations to him. Advance 3 steps, then turn left, it instructs. Without delay, Cyrus proceeds accordingly. He is considered the most fortunate man by everyone. Cyrus continues to progress effortlessly, turns left and takes a couple of steps. He veers right, approaching the destination swiftly. Executes a hop. The men are bewildered by his actions. His audacity and recklessness are astonishing. Seriously, nearly lost his equilibrium there. Alarming everyone, the leader's commander observes, pondering the lack of mechanism activation. The apparatus indicates a mere 5 paces remain, and Cyrus possesses absolute certainty of survival. The captain stares with utter disbelief. He bypasses the deceased and joins the group. All believe he has exceptional instincts, hence his continued existence, and knowledge of the captain's wife's undergarment hue. Sirius declares this outcome stems from training. I am blameless. The captain swiftly draws his weapon. He is astonished. It relies solely on instinct. This young man possesses fortune, but inevitably his luck will expire. Then instructs him to proceed. Cyrus advances easily until a fungus is spotted. The notification indicates the fungus augments bodily power, but induces loose stools. He recalls the tiny beast correct. Is she famished? Should he offer her these fungi? Or perhaps he will consume, because saliva is already formed. Desiring a morsel, abruptly the leader inquires his actions, and he states he is merely gathering fungi. The commander seizes it from his grasp, immediately consumes, and declares, everything within this labyrinth belongs to the expeditionary force. You cannot acquire anything without consent, while striking his chest. Our protagonist tells him, understood, leader, I will obey your commands. He understands the leader will soon experience difficulty. The fair-haired man addresses Bella. My apologies, I was unaware you were assigned to that squad. At minimum, she is receiving treatment. She states she willingly joined this collective. The gentleman inquires why. She simply observes serious prey, informing the gentleman that entrance will guide to the adversary, and the adjacent entrance leads to an impasse. After a period, her bone break has mended. He then inquires of Bella, you didn't affiliate with this faction to safeguard that pathetic trash. Feeble moron, she confirms his assertion is accurate. Her objective is to shield Ceres. However, the man elucidates that the reconnaissance and decoy contingent solely exists to jettison individuals. Any participant in this assembly is merely a squandering of assets. Their sole utility lies in perishing on the vanguard. She ought not to repeat such behavior. Nevertheless, he will ensure her safety. Ceres subsequently informs the commander that this is the optimal approach, and he simply responds affirmatively, Proceed and unseal the portal. Our comrade is reluctant. The commander instructs him to pause momentarily. Are you requesting my formidable constituents to venture in and imperil themselves? No rejoinder, simply proceed and unbar that entrance. With that solemnity, he advances to unlatch the portal. The individual is already brandishing the blade there, apprehensive that something will materialize. However, the commander's abdominal discomfort had already commenced. The man opens the entrance with composure. All are filled with eager expectation. Yet the crimson-clad individual detects an odd odor. Does this scent seem known? It is not of human origin. The commander rotates. Cease your foolish utterances and resume your movement, lest you too become tainted. The lead arrives at a barrier. The leader speaks gravely. Were you aware of the fungus attributes? And that is the reason for your hasty retreat. But the grave one responds negatively to the leader. What is the issue with the said fungus? However, the leader is clutching his trousers. A companion retrieves a rock for the leader to sit upon and relax. Are you fatigued? You may take a seat. Yet the leader merely kicks it aside. Silence, I require no rest. He then positions his blade against the grave one's next state. Should you flee once more, your life will be forfeit. Our hero responds affirmatively to the leader. I refuse to flee. They proceed. Sirius consistently receives accurate guidance. Refrain from stepping there. A massive beast resides beside it. Let's proceed this path to evade the entities entirely. Abstain from contact with anything. The leader finds it peculiar as we progress further. Their concerns diminish. Furthermore, they have not encountered any creatures. Is he truly circumventing all with his intellect? It's improbable. This individual could be devoured by a low-level beast instantly, let alone comprehending the entire route. But Sirius informs them of their proximity to the leader's chamber. The leader unsheathes his blade, stating, upon reaching the leader's chamber, your survival is no longer necessary. Whether fortune or not, your journey concludes now. The leader observes a column above Sirius. He engulfs the blade in an energetic field, dispatches an upward cut aimed at a small figure's head. As it descends, he contemplates the situation. It was merely a low-ranking individual eliminated by a typical labyrinth obstacle, nothing remarkable. But unexpectedly, something materializes. Sirius seeks cover as everything detonates around. Something impacts the leader in his torso. A large entity concealed within the column confronts them, while Sirius finds himself isolated across the chamber. The leader, stunned, realizes if he hadn't deflected, he would be deceased. Our protagonist touches the stone pond. Confounded, I am trapped in this place. Then a woman's voice utters, there is a person present. Undoubtedly, another formidable, monstrous female approaches. The lady declares him repulsive, evoking memories of a past romantic rejection. This creature is not Alaska, yet possesses prominent peaks, and the conflict with his companions is shown. Versus the stone behemoth, already unleashing a mighty roar, exuding a sinister violet energy, a beranked scorpion marionette. The group struggles to maintain their arrangement, for this beast is excessively strong for this inexperienced squad. Meanwhile, Bella ponders the unusual weight of her blade. Tyr, the fair-haired leader, directs the defenders to ready themselves. They secure their barriers. He then summons the archers. At the very least, the men exhibit some coordination. A volley of projectiles is launched toward the creature. Electricity bombards it relentlessly, yet it seems to inflict no harm upon the beast. It merely strikes the atmosphere with a force that obliterates all, and even propels the arrows backward. Tyr stares in astonishment. Every arrow halted by the mere gust of its strike. Furthermore, they failed to even graze it. The commander, fond of barking orders, yet contributing nothing, inquires, why remain idle? Advance immediately. There is no cause for alarm over a single beast. We return to Cyrus, lost in contemplation, whose sound was that he notices a shimmer in the dark, and abruptly an entity assaults. He evades it barely in time to quickly comprehend it was the appendage of a beast already upon it. He shifts and gains ideal striking position. Receive this blow with a force of 3,190, penetrating the monster. It appears his rigorous training with the she-devil proved quite fruitful. The being was vaporized, and a sound declares, you obliterated my minion with a single strike. But Sirius contemplates that the cure for his affliction lies in the chamber ahead. He cannot squander time on trivial battles. Then the Barank woman Sada emerges, stating she is unconcerned by its destruction, for she despises anything tainted by human touch. She intended to utilize it to decapitate it, but now she will personally handle the task. He observes another monstrous feminine entity and declares, "My cranium will not detach effortlessly with mere hand power. You must exert your complete strength and capabilities." But she retorts that she will not taint her hands on his repulsive form. Such contact would sully her purity. Then it's revealed she commands the creature on the opposite side. Utilizing some vocalized commands, she states she will address him initially, then eliminate the individuals outside. Remarkably, she's already raising her lower limb. The male is already exhibiting nasal bleed, and her sole action was elevating her legs. Perhaps she has discovered Sarah's point of vulnerability, but he initiates his verbal discourse, proclaiming safeguarding humankind is his obligation. He will remain and engage in combat even if subjected to torment. The apparatus commences its activation sequence. She rapidly attempts a forceful lower limb strike, but unexpectedly seizes his cervical region with her upper legs, propelling him towards the Earth's surface. Ceres was incapable of any immediate response. The mechanism ultimately focuses upon her, generating a slight radiance surrounding them. We comprehend this will engender some bewilderment within her intellect. She's gazing intensely at him overhead. She's implying he misjudges her capabilities. The unease is presently at 16%. Conversely, her entity is becoming timid and crimson. Observing this, she believes his assaults are proving effective. Subsequently, Saturn grazes Sarah's visage with her deadly instrument state. He's a mortal who progressed this extensively, but presently will be handled like a canine, inflicting pain upon his countenance in a manner that could rival the most ruthless individuals globally. She strikes him forcefully, expressing her disdain for humans encroaching upon her chamber. Cyrus is contemplating that she possesses excessive power. He cannot permit this to transpire. Yet currently he is impotent against such might. He must eliminate her. Now observing her lower extremity, he prepares for an assault, then delivers a fatal strike. Satyr is perplexed. She inquires about his actions with her. He's unhinged, but it's already a 220 agility boost for our hero. Returning to the opposite end of the battle, the knight was felled, and the beast remains enraged. Bella observes a lack of activity from Sarah. She merely trusts he has not lost consciousness. She must extract him from beneath the stones. Tyr advises patience, but she believes she absolutely must rescue Cyrus. She hastened, but the entity attempted retaliation. She halted there with an elegant motion, and as the blow was imminent, Tyr intervened, observing the debris. She reflects that Cyrus is relentlessly determined. I'm certain he's all right returning to the other side. I suspect the cavern is damp due to Saturn's moist slick. She declares this liquid repulsive. But our protagonist acquired 340 agility. He nearly suffocated. At last he liberated himself. She is enraged, exclaiming disbelief at his audacity. Cyrus discerns within the framework his inability to utilize his sole aptitude, due to lacking an instrument for incision. With foreknowledge, he would have carried even a fractured blade. However, given the circumstances, his sole recourse is physical assault, which he initiates. Yet Saturn effortlessly evades, delivering a contemptuous glare. He endured a forceful facial impact, but observe his response to the received blow. The renowned frozen confectionery strike. He was propelled a distance, yet inflicted 54% disturbance. Saturn commenced muttering to herself. One contemplates her thoughts. The unfolding events, she engages her terrestrial boundary. Eliminating this individual is imperative. Rapidly, she displaces the boundary, propelling it towards Cyrus, who observes, subsequently sidestepping and avoiding it. Following the strenuous engagement with her, his rank allows him to evade and anticipate her actions. He lifts his hand, concentrating his magical energy, and severs the appendage. But an attack approaches his face. He absorbs another blow, collapsing to the earth. Sada seems to enjoy this maneuver. She declares he is trapped once more with no chance of escape. He will be constricted by her powerful hip and thigh muscles. But Sirius has grown weary of this game. He lifts his hand in preparation, proclaiming he will display the strength in his grasp, and subsequently exerts his arm strength with maximum effort. But abruptly, she strikes him with a foot. Now her attacks become truly forceful. She is enraged, demanding he not touch her leg with his filthy hand. She utilizes the severed tail to restrain him against the ground. Now he is in trouble. He understands that even status theft is futile. She possesses overwhelming power, far surpassing his capabilities. She speaks. Time to pulverize his skull with Sirius enhancing strength awareness. He's amplifying sorcery while fulfilling peculiar desires. Why is dominating him so captivating? She desires to trample upon his physique. Excitement at 66%, she triggers the markings on her beast. That's going berserk with unsteady legs. Onlookers believed he was losing equilibrium. Victory is near as Saturn delivers another forceful strike. Treading upon him, observe her wrathful expression while crushing the unfortunate soul. Belle continues running. Persevere, girl. One day you will triumph. I have faith in you. Abruptly, the scorpion stinger appears before her. She parried, but the force was substantial. She was propelled afar, and the leader has only defecated thus far. Sirius instructs Saturn to pause. But she is relentless. She persists. The agony is excruciating, the damage permanent. The scorpion stinger now targets the commander. He justifies diverting the assault towards the stone-breaking side. Observing from the leader's perspective revealed that had he not intervened, it might have impaled the unfortunate youth's flank. Commotion is at 95% currently, and the beast approaches the commander. He lacked readiness for self-defense. However, it's too late as no action is possible. The leader protects himself and notices the entity faltered before him, and capitalizes on the chance to employ his skill. The feline that courses through the physique. Multiple lacerations were inflicted, and he repels the monster. The assembly is astonished by the commander's might. Goodness, one strike, and he forced it backward. Concurrently, the brutality persists. This is becoming genuine torment. Although previously it was amusement and sport and digits. The commander advances, declaring he will conclude. Observe as Satyr is perplexed by her frenzy. Why does she inflict this upon this individual? She states she requires composure. Something is amiss. Her physique warms, her cognition races uncontrolled. Sirius, conversely, claims winning her affection proves challenging. She possesses limber limbs furthermore. He struggles to locate solace from uncertainty. Should this persist, his constitution shall falter thus. He must unleash a Saitama magnitude assault. He parts his lips, resembling one devouring a burger after a century of famine, and initiates a pulverizing mastication sequence. Unforeseen was her amplifying her ruthlessness further, declaring his verbosity excessive. He ought to be silent, stating, your repulsive speech offends me. Be quiet. Sirius achieved ultimate annihilation, possessing 160 vitality augmented by focus. In endurance, the leader battles a monstrous entity. Once more, as the wretched being writhes from so-called suffering, he justifies the agony he experiences himself. Everyone exclaims in awe. It's a typical leader's maneuver. The large entity plummeted earthward as she raises her leg following a precise strike on our youth. Surrounding the being, everyone rejoices there. Meanwhile, our lad gains an additional 3,000 defense plus 4,000 speed. She is tormenting the helpless child. 3,200 awareness. The leader is assured. I possess immense strength. Saturn reveled in each moment when a sound emerged within her thoughts. Saturn, for what reason is there such commotion external? It's the masters and overseer of this domain. She retreats from Sirius. Not even his might caused her to linger. She is bewildered and apprehensive. Briefly, she disregarded the master's directives. She must eliminate this mortal swiftly. She tightens her hand. I shall rectify my errors. Saturn's strength increased 10,000 points. He inquired, do you truly desire to prolong this battle? She is perplexed. His presence resembles a leader's. This dungeon's master under immense strain appears. Observe his size compared to her currently. She has zero possibility after that strenuous, grueling battle. She fled terrified. Sirius remained passive, simply brutally trampled upon, and permitted her escape, observing her flight. The question, should I pursue her or disregard it, arose. My objective is the demon god's lifeblood. Expending effort on her is unnecessary. The captain receives accolades from everyone present. Truly you are courageous and unbeatable. Bella runs towards the rocks, intending to excavate. Suddenly, observe Ceres has arrived. She inquires about his well-being. Are you injured? He replies that he is unharmed, at ease. She grasps his limb negatively. I must observe. Allow me vision. He reiterated his well-being. She could relax presently. Distant weeping disliked Bella's concern for Cyrus. The leader lifted his appendage and delivered remarks. Everybody attend. We shall conquer the adversary. I will display my power. Currently, the leader's assurance is soaring. Asserting this labyrinth is not even D-ranked difficult. Triumphing will bring advancement and abundant wealth. Saturn communicates with the mastermind. A formidable human is present externally. Unusually upon arrival, his strength appeared meager, but grew immensely. Exercise caution, the Overlord advises Saturn. What directives do I have, she inquired. Observe the portal and permit no entry. He questioned her purpose there. Panic overwhelmed her. She confessed a puncture wound, and then he abruptly surged with energy. She fled without hesitation, but the leader warned her of impending capture. He declared he would tolerate no justifications. He struck her, sending her airborne. She landed amidst a heap of corpses. She contemplated her unwillingness to perish, so would she extend aid to our companion? The overseer was presenting a sacrifice to an evil entity, declaring its imminent completion. A multitude of people served as fuel, and now the creature's lifeblood began to heat. Suddenly the entrance burst open. Could it be him? The commander glanced back, inquiring who intruded. The leader proclaimed his intent to instill terror. He asserted with assurance the display within the vessel contained a substance capable of unleashing a deadly toxin. The monstrous being gazed at the leader and questioned. Was this the formidable human Saturn mentioned? Sirius solely contemplates acquiring the elixir for his affliction. The leader and his companions are celebrating. Go, leader, demonstrate human strength to him. Sirius discerns what lies in the center. It is presumably the legendary demon blood. The chief created the star symbol, then simply lifted a digit and assaulted the leader. A potent energy engulfed his protective suit. He was propelled afar. Everyone gasped as he struck the barrier. The troops were apprehensive. Leader, are you all right? As the evil entity inquires, is this the strongest human Saturn mentioned? She was truly worthless. The leader is defeated and pondered. A single strike, and I was obliterated. Fortunately, I wear this dragon top-tier armor. My sibling gifted me, or I would be deceased. The men approach to assist him. Leader, your armor shattered, but the leader is perplexed. What is happening in this labyrinth? Why is this creature's power so vastly different? Confronting this foe head-on seems illogical. I must utilize my allies to diminish this behemoth's might, and then exploit his vulnerability. I shall strike. That's the optimal approach for this situation. He brandishes his blade and bellows. Everyone heed my command, charge forth. Everyone unleash your unique talents. But Terror interjects, leader. If we attack haphazardly, we'll sustain heavy losses. Employing a vanguard shield tactic is preferable. The commander retorts loudly. Do you dare question my authority? Will you defy my directives? Terror denies any such insubordination. The captain commands him to cease speaking. He addresses the entire group. Everyone seize your armaments and attack courageously. All charge towards the adversary, and the fiend declares, you insignificant insects, your fate is inconsequential. Your bloodline is unworthy of sacrifice. Every soul believes they possess a fighting chance. Now is the moment to display the divide between beast and man. But abruptly a beam arrived, obliterating all instantly. Sarah rescued the situation, yet the remainder were incinerated. The leader evaded barely in time. Yet his blade was already broken. The adversary levitated, moving towards him. Terror struck you. The commander knew defeat was inevitable. An escape route was imperative. Sorrow consumed Tyr, witnessing his companion's charred limbs. The chief fled shrieking. Comply with my directives, withdraw. However, Cyrus seized him. The commander bellowed, scoundrel, release me. Sirius countered, you proclaimed yourself the mightiest of this assembly. The confrontation with the superior remains unresolved. Therefore you are not departing. The commander flailed, attempting liberation. My actions are my own. I am the leader. Should you desire demise so intensely, remain solo here. The evil one gestures. You trespass my residence, and now you desire escape. The leader's stunned gaze behind you gravely. He will assault with that force. Release me. The commander cannot comprehend how he is trapped by that garbage. Francis grasps tightly. Everyone is fleeing. I instructed you to release your group. He approaches to deliver a strike. He is confident in his victory, but Sirius maintains his grip, nearly fracturing his hands. Then Sirius instructs him to honor his commitments. If you possess superior strength, safeguard your companions, and hurls. He confronted the demonic assault head-on. A detonation transpired. All were escaping as the leader's body collapsed. Our hero declares it is his opportunity, unsheathing his fractured blade. The alluring Bella expresses her desire to aid Sirius. Tear also declares he will not flee, but she gazes at him and states, "Your presence is unnecessary. I will act for Sirius." Tyr acknowledges this, but he is the sole rank B present. He will vanquish these beings and will not retreat. Devil cautions, all despite witnessing his might. "You attempt escape, do not underestimate my abilities." But instantly Sirius nearly severed his limb. He utilized his innate intuitive aptitude. The malevolent entity evaded by a slight margin, but Sirius capitalized on the chance to sprint toward the ceremony. Alarmed by our protagonist's velocity, who had already departed, the leader was perplexed by his dash to the sacred platform. Sirius was nearing acquisition of his long-coveted objective, his yearning's end, while Tyr and Bella seized the moment to assault the command. Back to contemplate it internally. That's the perfect moment, but in a fleeting instant, the fiend thwarted both onslaughts with his unassisted appendages. Then he targeted Sirius, proclaiming, "This wretched pest is swift like a pesky insect, but I shall conclude this matter now." But Bella informed the chief she wouldn't permit him to harm Sirius. With elegant slashes and precise movements, she entrusted her blade to Tear, causing the leader to forfeit his equilibrium and narrowly avoiding the assault on Sirius. He utilized the detonation's undulation to propel himself to the shrine. He was nearly there. His cure was a finger's breadth away. When stopped, the platform was guarded by a mystical barrier that propelled him across the chamber. The leader informed him he had conjured the enchantment, and as long as he lived, breaching it would be unattainable. Sirius remarked it was logical. Simply seizing the potion would be effortless. "We must eliminate you to continue." Then he spotted a limb nearby and investigated its owner, while Tyr and Bella were enduring a beating from the leader, who declared their audacity in daring to challenge him. Tyr and Bella collapsed as Sirius pondered. What about the she-beast I allowed to flee? How did she arrive in this state? Santa flushed, quivering, and baking urged Sirius silence. So their presence remained undetected. Currently Nazar, the leader, stated his right required tranquility. Therefore, he must dispatch them. Their demise has arrived. Distant Sirius observed all and feared Bella's peril. He gave Saturn a fungus and sped to aid his companions. Saturn saw the restorative fungus and wept. The program informed Sirius, "The monstrous female Saturn is growing fondness for you. The armament prerequisites are fulfilled. Kindly select one." Sirius was amidst cards while Tyr and Bella neared death. Sirius urged the program to bypass that. He must rescue his comrades. But the program demanded an immediate choice. He grabbed a card at random, obtaining a gold and crimson dagger, detonating Raiment sacred sword. He dashed behind the adversary to test his fresh cut. But again Nasir seized it bare-handed and declared, "You were tricked. They were merely lures. My objective was you human insect, and now in such proximity." Sirius yelled again, slashing at Nasir's hands. However, he only inflicted a minor abrasion. Nasir chuckled at him, but then his garments burst apart, displaying a buxom Jewish physique, shapely and womanly form. Nobody anticipated her possessing two X chromosomes. Nasir blushed, inquiring about her missing attire, while Bella and Tyr pondered the same question. This unexpected disrobing stunned Sirius, the leader with a resolute face and a bloody nose. Sirius declared this adversary was incredibly strong. His system-given blade had a dual function. The initial strike detonates the foe's clothing. The second activates its ultimate technique. The divine sword descent Natsu tried to conceal herself. She hadn't foreseen such a shameful tactic, and now she would definitely eliminate him. But without a pause, Sirius attempted an assault she deftly evaded. Observing her, Sirius contemplated. My initial strike shattered her upper armor. Now another blow is required to obliterate her beneath the barrier. Next, I simply need to remove her facial cover, and I can unleash the ultimate technique. That will guarantee her demise. He only needs to utilize his special flash slash attack, but the program informs him only 6 more uses remain. Seriously, he informs the program his sole ability is utterly useless. The program inquires if he desires an upgrade, but he declines and teleports, targeting Natsio's legs again. With a nimble leap, she evades midair. She pondered why he focused on her lower limbs. He isn't attempting to damage her lower garment, is he? Poor Natsio. Without a pause, Sirius attempts another strike. She insults him vulgarly and stomps his torso, propelling him a great distance. He halts himself with his blade, but his nose is fractured. But that agony was less than the accursed torment. He charges towards her once again swiftly. The ability has a 10-second recharge period. He evades several sickness assaults, while lessening the gap between the two. When the 10 seconds elapsed, he utilized the quick body cut, aiming for the lower limb state. Observe how you evade something in close proximity. He sensed his blade pierce through an object and understood that he had struck a blow. But as he gazed upward, Natsu stood upon her appendage, informing him, if not for the apprehension of revealing the peaks, she would have already eliminated him. Employing a beam assault that Cyrus barely evaded, she continued assaulting, as he attempted to buy time to utilize his rapid strike once more. But eventually, he became trapped and had to parry the assault directly. The blasts and tremors were incredibly potent. Tyr was astonished by what he witnessed. How could a low rank achieve such a feat? Even a high-ranking individual is powerless. After the chaos subsided, Cyrus admired his blade. The woman repeatedly stated her assaults were now futile against him. The woman confirmed the truth in his statement. Eliminating him proved challenging for her, yet ending her companion's life was simple. She launched a fiery attack in her direction. Instantly, Sirius used Rapid Slash, severing Nazar's claws. He immediately moved towards Bella's location. Nazir fired once more into Sira's back, believing he foolishly turned his back to her. But midway through his movement, he turned and confronted the assault head-on. Bella was positioned comfortably relaxed. The mere shockwave shattered her armor, revealing. You understand. Sirius' power was unveiled, apparent to all. Even Natsu grew impatient with the difficulty of ending the boy's life. However, she then realized the ceremony required additional fuel to persevere, or her century of labor would be lost. But Bella abruptly felt peculiar sensations, expressing a feeling of elevated temperature and experiencing a similar rise in heat. Unexpectedly, Bella lost composure and self-control and embraced Sarah's head with her hands. Gasping desperately for more air, she drew Sarah near while a stunned Tyr observed. Her mouth was seen parting open, like a vessel on the verge of being consumed, gradually drawing nearer. But Sirius recalled their initial encounter when she resembled Luke, struck her with a forceful blow. He recoiled, expressing reluctance to harm her, while Tyr inquired about her actions. Bella revived, questioning her own motives. My intention was to embrace Sirius. My tongue protruded unknowingly. To worsen matters, we are amidst a conflict. She felt timid and humiliated. Concealing herself, Tyr inquired about potential poison due to her flushed appearance and rapid breathing. Furthermore, her typical demeanor differed from this display. In that precise instant, Nazir extended her arms, offering creature flesh to serve as an energy source for the ceremony. Cyrus observed her incinerating the demon god's blood entirely. He recognized the urgency of halting this action swiftly. His strategy involved unleashing all his energy in a powerful strike. However, Bella's assistance was crucial for this endeavor. Approaching her, he declared a discovered method to vanquish the adversary. But her collaboration was imperative for success. Her timidity alerted Tyr to impending trouble. Daring and fearless, resembling a warrior battling for humanity's well-being, Sirius instructed connecting their data transfer ports, enabling him to replenish his strength to overcome the foe, while attentively listening to Sirius's explanation, detailing each specific aspect of their scheme. Her spirits progressively elevated with growing enthusiasm, while Tyr was baffled by the situation. How Sirius could deliver that strategy with such composure. She was already prepared for action, as Sirius attempted to console her, stating, I understand this must be challenging, but I implore you. Her anxiety level escalated to 93%, but unexpectedly Tyr grasped Sirius' hand, instructing him to cease dwelling on those thoughts. Amidst the conflict, he gazed at Bella and uttered, Do not place your trust in him. With a joyful expression, she assured Sirius she believed his words. Tyr was astonished as Bella spoke those words. She anticipated feeling humiliated, but to eliminate the leader, she would endure anything. The resolve of this pair is remarkable, truly enduring hardship to preserve their kind. She once again seized Sirius' head. All that remained were memories of young and goblin Bella, while Sirius was in a state of distress. The unfortunate Tyr suffered a serious blow, experiencing a memory flashback. Cyrus shoved Bella away, finding himself disoriented on the ground. Unexpectedly, Cyrus gained 5,000 points for inflicting pain upon Tyr. Our protagonist becomes significantly more powerful after humiliating someone. From a perfect vantage point, we observe Cyrus informing Bella her assistance is no longer required. He felt empowered, yet she was reluctant for his departure, so she inquired, what if he remained unable to overcome the adversary? With crossed legs and significant frustration, she reiterated her question, do you truly not need my aid? Cyrus directly responded negatively. He departed quickly, as Bella endured the pain of rejection on the ground. While Tyr's defeat tormented her, Bella pondered, I acknowledge Cyrus possesses superior strength, and that explains your infatuation with him. I desire to inquire further, however, before witnessing the response. We witness Cyrus pursuing nausea. His strategy involves striking the legs and head concurrently, and subsequently concluding everything swiftly with an additional 5,000 points. He only requires discovering an opportunity. Nausea observed her container, detecting its excessive coldness. She needed kindling, perhaps those people would suffice. She commenced flight and instructed Siri to show gratitude, since they all would transform into offerings. She allowed her curvaceous peaks to experience some gusts, while summoning her most formidable incantation. Cyrus' sole consideration was its immense size. The assault was direct, and Cyrus attempted to deflect, but his defensive energies were swiftly diminishing. After a mere moment, he was exhausted. Nasir informed him the conflict had concluded, but then an exquisite hand enveloped his countenance. Rotating his head, he perceived a fair deity. Informing him she understood his need for substantial assistance. Unhesitatingly, Cyrus transformed into a climber and embraced the highlands. But sadly for Tyr, his affections were shattered. Bella was aware of Tyr's fondness for her, but she had already conveyed that to him. She has held affection for another since youth, and that remained constant as Cyrus ascended, literally in every aspect imaginable. His abilities surged, and his attributes augmented by 27,500. His presence overwhelmed the entire chamber. Nasir was astonished by the spectacle. He should be incapable of resistance now. Yet there he stood, radiant aura blazing. But even then, Nasir remained self-assured. She informed him that regardless of strength gain, he remained merely a common mortal. She was on the verge of calling him insignificant when he dematerialized before her eyes. Instantly, a vertical gash bisected her form. That was the empowered rapid slash shattering Nasir's facade. And now Cyrus' ultimate technique, the sacred blade descent, had been unleashed. Nasir cried out in anguish. How dare he mar her visage? She exerted all her might, conjuring a colossal sun above, with her full strength imbued within. But Cyrus was persistent when she launched her assault. He utilized his sword plunge. A massive gold blade struck directly over Nausea. The resulting blast obliterated everything nearby, and once the debris cleared, the sole remaining object was Nasir's corpse. Just as she entered this realm, his celestial strike had a 20-second recharge, and he raced towards the demonic blood. However, the enchanted formation remained intact. From the earth, Nazar addressed him. I shall never permit vile mortals to defile the sacred blood. Sirius awaited the recharge and replied to her, I will deal with you momentarily in a matter of seconds. That's when he glanced behind and observed Bella with tears fall. Nazar rose to his feet, exclaiming it was time to witness the dominant species, creature or human, yet Sirius simply dashed to retrieve his companions. He was primarily concerned with rescuing them as Nasir collapsed. Believing humanity to be utterly foolish, Sirius loudly urged the mechanism to locate the quickest exit route. However, an entity was watching them nearby and materialized before him. Bella observed Sirius's intense struggle on her behalf. She recalled during their youth everyone ridiculed her, but Sirius consistently defended her and struck any individual attempting to harass her. Cyrus again utilized his rapid body slash to injure the beast, while Bella's thoughts were consumed by Cyrus's benevolence. But then sickness made a decisive action. She offered herself as an offering to the Dark Lord's blood. A dragon unleashed a fiery breath assault upon Cyrus, but he adeptly evaded and vanquished another beast, while Nasir was being immolated for the sacred fiend. Then abruptly Sirius's armament vanished, and the mechanism informed. The adversary had been conquered, and the armament had reverted to the mechanism. Following 12 hours, the armament would return. Sirius deemed it inconsequential. because they just arrived at the dungeon's exit, directly at the leader's entrance. The surviving individuals witnessed Sirius's return. The commander panicked and yelled Sirius's name. "You disobeyed my instructions and tried to flee. You were dismissed from the exploration group. The organization will no longer provide assistance, and now I shall terminate you." But in a flash, Sirius kicked him in the face. He disregarded the commander completely and continued fleeing with his companions, returning to the subterranean labyrinth, where Saturn observed the ritual's impending outcome. Two pale arms parted the crimson veils from a blood pool. Saturn experienced a bone-chilling sensation, as if countless needles pierced her body. The pale being emerged with red hair and a feminine physique. It resembled the demonic deity in appearance. Saturn attempted to flee the area swiftly, but Azathoth noticed her and with a snap of his fingers, obliterated everything in its path, unveiling Saturn and causing every being within the labyrinth to descend to the deepest level. Each beast inquired if that was sickness, but Azathoth simply stated that illness had perished. He required a new follower. Immediately, swiftly, a horde of goblins dropped to their knees, commenced serving him. But Azathoth uttered unsightly and eliminated everyone. He desired something aesthetically pleasing by his side, so he approached Saturn and complimented her appearance, and requested her to lift her face while parting her lips. Reluctantly, and with teardrops in her eyes, she obeyed. Azathoth dripped some emerald fluid onto her mouth. Saturn instantly sensed her body being mended, and joy was surging within. Azathoth grasped her by the jawline, clarifying that his fluid could restore and strengthen her defenses. But the absorption process induced an excessive elation. Then he informed Saturn that twilight was approaching. She should locate a chamber and await him there. Then we observed the guild's central command. The leader is being reprimanded for botching a simple mission. Golden-armed individual is the top-ranked Aaron and his sibling. The commander was imploring him for assistance. "Aid me, or I will forfeit my leadership role. We shall lose all we have accumulated, and our theft from the organization will be uncovered." His kin told him to be silent, as he was aware of everything. He then inquired about something. "The name of the one defying your commands." The leader identified the individual as Cyrus. Darren stated they would place all responsibility on Cyrus, and he would face a death sentence for desertion. Returning to Saturn, she felt a soft, supple touch against her back. A warm exhale caused her ears to flush. Upon rising and glancing behind her, a pale-haired woman with Pixar maternal figure was Azathoth, who clarified that nocturnally she weakens revert to her initial feminine state. During this period, Sada must safeguard her from any potential threats, and she should never contemplate harming her, because with her lifeblood within Sada, she can effortlessly disintegrate Sada's form. Meanwhile, Sirius was frantically searching, seeking the whereabouts of the deity's essence. He was determined to persevere, even if it required combing every inch of the area. He had already departed from Bella and Tyr. At the medical facility, Azathoth clarified she required her core, which resided within the Champions League, despite transforming into a frail mortal at night. When dawn arrives, she'll reclaim her core and fully restore her abilities. Suddenly, Sada detected a sound. An individual was drawing near. She informed Azathoth she would intercept whomever it was, but Azathoth cautioned if she ventured beyond 5 kilometers, instantaneous demise would befall her. Sirius was sprinting towards an entrance. He understood its presence was certain, because his exploration encompassed every location, and indications confirmed blood within the depths. An unforeseen event was Saddle's presence. Her adept foot poised for another forceful strike. She initiated a direct downward assault, but discerned Sirius's identity. She halted, exclaiming, "You repulsive human," once more. Yet within the chamber's confines, Azathoth experienced profound solace, a fitting response to her discovery. Locating her essence caused bewilderment. Saturn informed Sirius of Naja's demise and return. He advised swift departure from the area. However, Sirius expressed contentment regarding her recuperation and renewed ability to battle. Perhaps the fungi he provided aided her. Saturn blushed, denying such a notion. The mushrooms were utterly the vilest substance she had ever consumed. He should depart, but her distress instantly escalated to 71% reward. Sirius gestured towards her, implying his awareness of her fondness for him. Saturn disappeared, then attempted a kick to Sirius' face, which he evaded. She endeavored to strike him again. Embarrassed, she shut her eyes and repeatedly stomped the unfortunate lad, declaring him repulsive. Yet upon opening her eyes, He was absent. Sirius was sprinting towards Azathoth's chamber, just outside the entrance. He sensed the demon god blood essence behind. However, before any action could be taken, Azathoth abruptly opened the portal. His rapid pace prevented him from halting. Only a warm snowball obstructed his progress. Sirius recoiled as Sadur inquired about Azathoth exiting the chamber. Azathoth instantly seized Cyrus' anxieties. Amidst Cyrus' pain cries, Azathoth detected her heart within his prospective family sanctuary. Cyrus broke free, questioning her actions. The program informed him she possessed demonic heritage. Cyrus pondered if his remedy became human. He made a minor incision to taste some demonic liquid. Azathoth sensed an unusual sensation, but the program informed Cyrus his affliction remained. Azathoth grinned at him. She understood his desire, but nightly in human form. Her blood is useless. Sadur kicked Cyrus, ordering him away from her leader. Cyrus retreated while Azathoth contemplated. My core was absorbed by a mortal and converted into his life force. I must reclaim my strength. Even by force I will reabsorb it. But sadly, after all the enjoyment, she will dissolve Cyrus's form using her abilities. While Cyrus is considering this, he must extract other fluids from her to determine the one possessing the desired result. He attempts to reach for her when the ground collapses. He evades the ambush and rising from the ground. Another comrade emerges unexpectedly. She possessed a spider-like physique, 8 appendages, and 3 orbs, each adorned with a joyful expression. She claimed to sense Azathoth's energy from a great distance, and she even held the chime gifted to her ages ago. She is the leader Ghana. She charges toward Azathoth, declaring her affection already demonstrated. And now the moment has come to consume Azathoth. Azathoth in human form simply awaited her fate. She was helpless, but suddenly Cyrus seized her, dodging Ghana's assault and escaping through an opening. He was perplexed by the sudden arrival of a powerful entity, but his main concern was rescuing his beverages within Azathoth. But Ghana naturally pursued them relentlessly. After a period, Cyrus placed Azathoth gently on the ground, proclaiming he had finally eluded the creature. Azathoth inquired about their current location. He informed her they were within the sanctuary of his residence. Azathoth expressed contentment upon receiving this news. Now she can mend her soul and embark on a rampage. So she grasped Sirius' neck, drawing him nearer and uttering, "Beloved champion, I have been afflicted by a dreadful beast. If I do not locate a male to liberate myself, I shall soon perish, so please assist me. I require you to rescue me this instant." With blood present in his nostrils, Sirius informed her, "I am a virtuous and righteous warrior. I shall endorse this video because we exhausted our installments. And activate the notifications since when the show receives fresh episodes, Mamoru will unveil a subsequent installment. Thank you all for viewing this presentation. Trust you have relished it. This one consumed a considerable duration to produce. Enjoy your day, brethren. See you in the upcoming